So, I'm Nikki Sinclaire, I'm a member of the European Parliament, and this was supposed to be a joke, and people have turned up. so now I'm really nervous. So, I'm going to talk about the EU. So, I think EU rules should apply to this show, I really do think they do. So, everything in the EU is a bit of kind of a roundabout, back to the front and so forth. So, I think we'll start with the end. So, a huge round of applause, please. That wasn't up to EU standards. EU Standard Directive 2475472 League 2. So we need to do it again. Press please. Nikki Sinclaire MEP finished with 2 great big rounds of applause. So anyway, yeah, so as I said, I'm at the Edinburgh Festival and it's wow. I'm hoping you'll have a fantastic time. That you're only here to see the show and not because you're out in the rain. It's been raining today, it's been terrible, isn't it? So really glad you're here. I was elected in 2004, and sorry, I wasn't, 2009. I've been working with the EU since about 2004. I was elected in 2009. I've been elected now for about 4 years, and it's hard to describe. I don't know, has anyone here been to Brussels or Strasbourg? You have, yeah? It's a huge, it's madness, it's an absolute huge place. We mainly do our plenary sessions in Strasbourg, and it's actually a vast chamber. So I'm a bit out of my comfort zone here today, because even though it's a vast chamber, there's like 28 countries, 700 and I think it's about 66 MEPs currently, which have a new lot in Croatia. What we do, it's huge, but sometimes there's hardly anybody there. So I could be giving a speech in the European Parliament, and I'm literally giving it to about 5 people. So, first part, I'm out of my comfort zone because there's more people than I normally speak to in the European Parliament. 2, in the European Parliament, whenever I get to speak, I only get to speak for 1 minute. And because it's such a vast arena, it's all a microphone. So I'm really passionate. I don't know if any of you check me out, but I'm really passionate Eurosceptic. Yeah, I'm not going to do really politics today. That's what I'm not going to preach or anything like that. But I'm really passionate Eurosceptic. I think we should have a referendum, leave, or whatever. But so I really get intense. They don't like me there. They don't like me because I kind of give it to them. So I'm giving my speeches, and and I'm getting to them. I'm putting up my case, and 20 seconds go on, and I'm going like, right, this is it. They're all their faces, they're looking angry, I'm going like, yeah, got them. 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 45, 46, 47, 48, yeah, well, I've got to finish. So when I'm speeding up a bit, I put something 48, and then you can... Frustrated. But if you say you love the EU, they'll let you talk for 5, 6 minutes, but yeah, very critical. So that's the frustrating, but also, in there as well, you get it's the clash of cultures. And I remember there once being there for a cultural debate. It was on the tourism, transport tourism, and you had these MEPs standing up. And I fair play to them. They were talking about how good their countries were and so forth. And there was this French MEP stood up from Normandy, and he was saying, in Normandy we have the great Camembert cheese. In Normandy we have the great wine. I've temporarily forgotten the wine. We have the great Norman wine. We have the great Norman forests. And in our universities we have the great Norman wisdom. It's true. And of course, the English and the Irish MEPs, all 5 of them that were in there, they started to fall about laughing. And he just looked over and he was just like mortified. And there's loads of examples of that. And the other thing was on a subcommittee. And we've heard all about the EU, when I'm on the straight, keep comes back to me. But this was about wine guns. So what exactly? Yeah, but they were saying we need to develop a subcommittee to measure the alcohol content in a wine gum. Because, they had to do something, and that's the thing with the European Union. It has to be, that you actually have to do something. Gosh, I'm not used to speaking more than a minute. So, when you get to European Parliament, it's absolutely just huge. Yeah. The first thing they ask you for is your bank account. You walk in there and say, I've just been elected and any details. Bank account details, please. And that kind of sets the thing for your stay there in the Parliament. Some people have been there 20, 30 years, absolutely amazing. But there's quite a lot of characters in the European Parliament, as we all know. I think one of the downsides, and so I'm very Eurosceptic, but we don't know enough about the European Union or the Parliament, because we get the caricatures. I'll tell you what, I'll go to some class and explain to some people class. Some you might know, some you won't know. So some characters, and there's one, I like to call him the only Eurosceptic in the village, Daniel Hannan. He's a Conservative MEP for South East of England. He believes he's the only one that's put in the case of Euroscepticism in the country. So that's how I call him. My nickname for him is the only Eurosceptic in the village. And then you have the only gay in the village. It's Gay Colin from EastEnders. Can I just have permission to digress for a moment? I don't know if any of you watch EastEnders. I don't anymore, but I used to, and I got fed up with it. Everyone would come into EastEnders, wouldn't they? And their lives would be sorted. They're really cool people, everything's good about them. 3 months down the road, that's it. They've lost their home, they've lost their job, their relationship's gone for their kids don't want to speak to them. Yeah, and that's EastEnders, and but Peter out there, he decided to leave. Yeah? So he decided to leave and become an MEP. And he represents, like I do, the West Midlands. So the year that he got elected, what did he do? He bought a house in London for £675,000. Seriously, represent the West Midlands, some 110 miles away, and bought a house in Islington. Lots of champagne in Islington. Yeah? And he's retiring next year. He might go back to his dentist, who knows. But he's retiring next year. His house is worth £1.9 million. Not bad, eh? And here is the village idiot. Does anyone know who this is? No, does anyone know who this is? He's been in the news a lot recently. His name is Godfrey Bloom of UKIP. He's the one who thinks women should clean behind the fridges. He's a bit sad, isn't he? He also, does anyone know Katie Hopkins here? She's been in the news, she's about names and Chardonnay and all the various type of things. She today called him offensive. For her to call him offensive, she said, he's a bit like a sad old man with dementia. Well, now the clubs that he frequents in Brussels, he's a sturdy, seedy old man with dementia. So anyway, that's Godfrey Bloom. I've had my run-ins with him. I had a drink with him a few months ago. He was completely blind, drunk, and could hardly stand. So I had my fun and had a drink with him. So you don't know who this one is. He's the one that Nigel Farage insulted. Do you remember that? The wet tea towel. Comes from half a country, comes from, what else did he sound about? A low-grade bank manager, which to be honest, I thought it was being sold to bank managers. But anyway, he's no Von Rompuy. He's the president of the European Council. Now, the European Council was a rotating for every country, and they thought they would save money, and they would create a permanent presidency. Yeah, and everyone thought that Tony Blair was going to get this, but no, they decided to give it to Herman Von Rompuy, and he earns 3 times more than what Cameron earns. So yes, that's Herman Von way. But by the way, they still have the rotating presidency, so we didn't see any running. And there's, oh, this is my favourite. This really is my favourite. Does anyone know who this is? Yes, Baroness Cathy Ashton. She was the leader of the House of Lords that pushed through the Lisbon Treaty, which created her current job, by the way. She has never received a single vote in her life. Not one single vote. And now she's in de facto the Foreign Secretary of the European Parliament. And you know, what they wanted to do when they created this, because of course, you know, the European Union, you know, they want to be like, obviously, the United States of America. Yeah? And in America, you know, they have the American dream. Yeah? It's the dream, you know, you can be rich, you can have a nice house, you can have straight teeth. You know, so the European Union want the EU dream, you know, all one country, you know, all eating cheese and wine and fantastic. So that's what they want. So what they wanted is people to represent them. Yeah? People to represent them. And that's high grade. So that's what Blair was talked about. So they chose on Rompuy and Cathy Ashton, who has a Dalek in her room, in her front room. True story. So they wanted someone to stop the traffic in Beijing, they said. I honestly think the proverbial comment, chicken crossing the road, would have more chance of stopping the traffic in China than Cathy Ashton would. And here he is. How can I not mention Mr. Farage? Now, me and Nigel, we've had our ups and downs. For those of you who don't know, I was in UKIP for a very long time, pretty much since it started, worked very hard and blah, 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 blah. But when I got elected to the European Parliament, found out what was being hidden all the time is, unfortunately, UKIP was basically liaising and sitting with, in effect, Nazis. People didn't think the Holocaust happened, so I made it serious for a second, but serious, but didn't think the Holocaust happened, didn't think that they thought Auschwitz was just a cleansing chamber, that some of the people in that group that they liaised with has criminal convictions for setting alight immigrants' belongings and that type of thing. You know, and I'm anti-EU, but I'm not anti-foreign, so I just really couldn't. So me and Nigel had a falling out over that, and I no longer UKIP. But when I was in UKIP, now Nigel, he always likes to delegate. He'll tell me, oh, I've delegated this to committee to committee. But when I was on those committees, I was a former national executive, former party secretary. He'd phone me up at 11 o'clock at night. Oh, hi Nigel. Hi Nikki. And he'd go, I said, what's the problem, Nigel? And he'd go, well, I don't know. I just don't tell you, I'm going to leave. I just can't take this anymore. I've just had enough of UKIP. I'm just going to walk away. Oh, Nigel, well, you can't do that. Well, I don't care. I'm just going to go. I've had enough. What's the problem, Nigel? Well, it's just this committee tomorrow. I just don't know what to do. And I said, what do you mean, Nigel? He went, well, if they vote that certain way, I just can't stay in UKIP. And that's what he does. He basically rings up everyone. He's like the Vargo, you know Othello. He's like the Vargo. He whispers everything in it. So he basically then, you know, gets people to the committees to do what he wants. So, you know, that's just a little background of how Nigel works. But of course, I'm a bit wary about saying Nigel Farage in Scotland. You all know what happened. And I found Scotland to be, you know, I'm a Eurosceptic. You know, I'm out and proud. We should leave the European Union. I'm out. Leave the European out. You know, but obviously, people don't mind me, but they obviously do mind him. You know, he came up here once to come up here for a press conference, and the Scots wouldn't have any of their own. What I like about, I love Scotland. I've actually got a Scottish name, Sinclair. Apparently, it's the way I spell it, with an E, is aristocratic. Apparently, I've been told. Can't find any Sinclair or any tarts on that. But
not Sinclair.
He's not very well educated at all. And whenever you develop an argument against him, he really doesn't know where to come back from. So I would just really like them to really push him on that. Because, you know, he's not very clever. And by the way, you know, this whole kind of beer and fat, he does smoke, he smokes like a trooper. But you know the whole beer thing? I never know him to drink beer. He's a wine drinker. It's just, you know, sort of the people, you know, of the people who drink the beer. No, Nigel, you drink it. He was caught in an expose in 2004. €100 bottles of wine drinking. It was in the paper. It was caught. You're always drinking them, yeah? And those rather seedy clubs you go to with God to blame. We know that. But yeah, so he's not very well educated. I think this feels like therapy for me. I think I should be paying you. It's taken me 3 years of that. But yeah, as I say he's only ever read one book in his life, Nigel, and that was George Orwell's Animal Farm, and he thought that was an instruction manual. So yeah, thank you, Nigel. Anyway, I don't know how the game to go with this one. I just thought it was a sweet post. Isn't it? It's sweet. Sorry, I don't know the game, so I think it was, but just on the Barrett National, one I want to say slightly kind of seriously, but is on the Human Rights Committee, and you know, although as a person I'm a Eurosceptic and like to strangle the EU and maybe that's the one of the things I do stop at, and it's one of my big disagreements with Fudge, I do really believe in human, not just Strasbourg human rights, I'm talking about, you know, I've been to Gaza, I've been to Afghanistan, I've been to, you know, Tunisia after the revolution, I've been to Bahrain, visiting prisoners, and, you know, it's been really serious, but one of the things that I'm also involved with is the people trafficking. Yeah, and that's a terrible, because of freedom of movement, it allows criminals. And there's a lot of organised crime in the European Union. And that's not an argument because it's terrible. But, you know, what difference is there between the EU and organised crime? I was asked at a conference. So we've got the EU. What's the difference between the EU and organised crime? And the only thing I could realistically think about was, well, one of them's organised. So, to use a football term of Alex Ferguson, and sorry, but you know, there's one Scottish person I don't like, it's Alex Ferguson. I'm also good at any average person. But in football, a football term, it's for MEPs, it's squeaky bum time. Yeah, and you know this so gravy. Getting to the end of the tin. And so we're looking for a new tin, and it's, you know, so it's European nations, you know, and some MEPs won't get a new job that will run out and they will be deprived of their grade. So, and there'll be some British ones as well. Hopefully not me, but I'm sure there will, well, we know there will be, it's just the fact that there will be some British MEPs. And can you imagine what's going to happen? Probably about this time next year, July time, the election's on the 22nd of May, you still stay as an MEP until July. So kind of July, August time, there'll be at least one MEP going to the job centre, won't there?